All right, we are live on YouTube, and I'm just waiting on the video to connect on my other monitor over here so that I can grab that link and put it inside of our free business mastermind group so that our members can join us here easily and conveniently on the live YouTube. Let's see, I see that. Let me grab this link. Okay, I got it. Let me put it in the group. Oh, crap. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, that is posting and cycling through. So let me go back to where I can see the YouTube live and make sure that the live chat is where I can see everything. All right. So if you're live and you want to chat and talk to us, answer the questions and add in your comments, use the live chat. I can see you and I will blend you right on into the show. All right. Cool beans. Now I think it's time we can get started. Sometimes what you think is a task has a lot of subtasks, and that can make it a project instead of a simple task. How clear are you on the best way to get your projects done in an organized way that gets you to the goal and the money faster? Today, we're answering the question, how do I run projects for my business that get me to the money? We're talking about the project life cycle for profit today, and it's coming from our blog for this week called Project to Profit, Key Elements of Executing Projects for Solopreneurs. If you want to follow along, let me grab this link for you. It is located at shaycannon.com/projects with an S. Shaycannon.com/projects with an S. Okay. So, this is the last week of the morning show where we're going to have a blog that we talk about. Now, we got one more week of the morning show, but we're doing live coaching next week, which is our actual final week. But this is the last week we're doing a blog post that's going to, take care of what we talk about on the morning show. So I had to dig deep. I was like, okay, this is the last morning show. Let me look at the gap. What is something that I am really good at that I really want to share with y'all that I know will be instrumental for you growing your business? And let me tell you how your girl is awesome at project management. Okay. So I was like, okay, how can I break this down in a way that entrepreneurs, but especially solopreneurs, understand how they should be looking at projects and running projects in their business? Because especially when you're a solopreneur and you're the only one in the business doing everything, you really need to be uber organized and really have this project mindset to see things through and get them done, because everything relies on you and you need to be pumping stuff out the right way. All right. So this week we're talking about project to profit, key elements of executing projects for solopreneurs. Most entrepreneurs don't think of themselves as project managers, but every offer, client, and idea that you are juggling is a project. Whether it's launching a new service, creating a course, or simply improving how your clients are onboarded, these are all projects that need to get from start to finish if you want to ever get to the money. Okay. So the point of project execution for entrepreneurs isn't about the certifications, color coded Gantt charts, or, agile sprints and all that kind of stuff. Okay. That's not the point of it. It's about organizing chaos, turning big goals into doable steps, managing deliverables and deadlines without losing your mind, and most importantly, running every project from start to profit, not just start to done. All right. So, especially for solopreneurs, because in a one-person business, your ability to manage projects effectively is the difference between hustling endlessly and finally building momentum that pays. All right. So the first thing I need you to know about projects is what we're going to talk about today, and that is the project life cycle. Okay. Every project that earns instead of exhausts follows a general framework, a kind of rhythm that moves ideas from spark to success. This project life cycle is the foundation that keeps a business organized, consistent, and profitable. Without it, solopreneurs tend to operate in constant reaction mode, spinning in circles instead of building momentum. So having a defined framework for how projects flow, y'all know I love a flow, no matter the type, creates a repeatable process that leads to clearer outcomes and faster financial results. It provides the structure, y'all know I'm a structure person, that turns creativity into cash flow, ensures resources are used wisely, and transforms scattered effort into measured success and progress. When a business embraces this approach, every project stops being a one-time scramble and starts becoming part of a predictable path to profit. All right. Now, that's what's in the blog, but here on the morning show, I give you more. So I'm going to pull up my show notes because I'm going to give you the general framework for the project life cycle. But first, I want to show it to you because I want you, while I'm saying these words, to have a visual. All right. All right. So this is your visual. Much like, and the crazy part is, we as service providers, we understand life cycles and frameworks and flows and phases because we give a service, and our services, all of our services have a flow or phases or the way that we go through and get it done. So this is no different. When you have projects that come up, treat it like your service, okay? So it's going to have its own framework and its own flow from beginning to end. So this is a general project life cycle, okay? Number one, you're going to start off by clarifying the goal. We don't just start doing stuff. We got to know why we doing it, okay? We know what needs to be done, but why are we doing it? Because the why can determine how we actually do it, all right? The next thing is we're going to map out those milestones or those phases, okay? After that, now we're going to outline what are the deliverables. Does each phase have a deliverable, or every other phase? Wherever there are some deliverables where something needs to be created, then we need to know what those are, okay? The next thing we need to do is create a preliminary timeline for this project. Now, I say preliminary because the timeline that you start off with is rarely the timeline you ended up with, okay? But we need to have some idea of generally how long this thing is going to take, how long are the different milestones going to take, and that type of thing, okay? The next thing you're going to do is either assign a task. If you don't have anybody else working in it, that means all the tasks go to you, but now you have to prioritize the task. So if you have a team or anybody helping you, an outside service vendor or whatever, a VA, then you're going to assign tasks, even if some go to you. If there's nobody but you, then you need to be prioritizing tasks because it is all you, okay? The next thing we're going to do is execute this flow we've put together. The last thing we're going to do is, as we're getting these deliverables and we're getting results and we're coming to the end of the project, we need to review all of the results for the desired outcome, okay? Again, just doing stuff is not our goal. Doing stuff for the purpose that we set out for is the goal. So did we achieve the goal? We need to look at that at the end, or guess what? We might not be finished, right? We might have to add some more milestones. We might have to add some more steps, some more phases to get it done. So this is the general project life cycle for profit, all right? Cool. Now that you have that visual, that's not all I have for you, okay? I want to go through each one, each step, okay? Each life cycle step. And I want to tell you the goal of it, the biggest obstacle to it, and a solution to that biggest obstacle, okay? So the first step of your project life cycle is clarify the goal. Okay, and we've already talked about what that is. We're establishing the purpose and the measurable outcome of the project before anything even begins. Okay, your goal is to set a clear financial or operational target that ties directly to your business growth. I'm sorry. Okay, if there is no profit goal or operation goal for your business growth, I almost don't understand why you're doing it. So keep that in mind. So that's your goal. Now, sometimes the biggest obstacle to clarifying your goal is you start focusing on vague results like finish the website. Instead of defining what success looks like, which is, revamp the website so that you get more leads. You see that? There's a big difference, right? And one of them is tied to your business growth, and one of them is just something to get done. All right. So the solution to that, attach every project to a concrete outcome that directly supports revenue, retention, and visibility. And I just gave one. I kind of jumped ahead. But so you don't say just finish the website. You say, finish the website or revamp the website so that you get more leads. Okay. That could look like different things. It can look like adding more lead magnets. It can look like adding more video. It could look like adding more SEO, AEO, whatever. Okay. But when you have a goal, that's going to determine how you do things. Now, otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to go in there with that website and you pick some pretty colors. And that was a great brand photo shoot, lifestyle shoot that you did. And your pictures are beautiful and nobody's still buying from you. Okay. Because guess what? The pictures and just having cute colors don't end in business growth. So what are you tying to it? Something that helps your business to grow, not just cute shit. All right. Cool beans. Step 2 of your project life cycle is map the milestones. Okay. Map the milestones. Now, what this is breaking the larger project into smaller sequential achievements that mark progress. That's just milestones. That's just phases. Okay. So you got a whole big project. If we stick with the website one, then we understand that we pick the goal and we might have to do colors and fonts and stuff. And then we might have to do a photo shoot, or we might have to do a stock photo. We might need copy. We might need lead magnets. But all of this stuff that needs to happen, we need to put it in sequential order and make them milestones for us going towards completion. All right. The goal to provide direction and measurable progress points that keep motivation high and your focus sharp. Okay. So that is the goal of mapping out your milestones. The biggest obstacle, overestimating what can be done quickly and underestimating how long small steps take. Okay. I'll tell you that in my head, I am a very intelligent person. But if you just give me a task list, sometimes if I don't pay attention in my head, I'm thinking each one of them tasks only take an hour, right? Just take an hour. So if I'm going to do 6 hours of working on stuff, I should get 6 of these tasks done. Nope. So you need to look at the true time that it takes to do bigger and smaller things, because it may take more time or less time than you think. And so the solution, treat milestones as mini victories that build momentum and confidence while moving toward the final goal, but looking at how long they actually take. All right. Step 3 of the project life cycle is outline the deliverables. So define what completion looks like for each of the milestones, also the project itself, okay? And what tangible results can be produced from it. All right. So your goal is to remove, generalities and create a standard of accountability for each outcome, each milestone, phase, stage. Okay. The biggest object to that, not knowing when something is actually quote unquote done, which leads to endless revisions and burnout. So the solution to that is establish deliverables that reflect the value of why you're creating it, not just that the task is complete. I'll give you a great, one of the things that I run into all the time when I have projects set up is I'll tell somebody to, I might say, I'm going to just say, go do A, right? And to start off, have this team member to help you by doing this. And what they'll do is they'll complete the whole task after the other team member do their part. Baby, you didn't own this task and see it through. There's more parts to this. You only sent it to that person. What about all the stuff you need to do to complete the task, right? So we need to make sure that the deliverables are outlined and they understand why they're doing what. Why are you doing this step? What does completion look like? Kind of like KPIs. What does success look like? Okay. Number 4 in your project life cycle is create a timeline. So structuring the project's flow in a way that respects priorities, workload, and realistic delivery. All right. So the goal is to bring balance between urgency and sustainability in getting the results done. All right. Everything can't be an emergency. Everything can't be done today. Everything can't be done now. Okay. So, biggest obstacle here is treating time as unlimited or assuming everything can be done now. Okay. So, the solution, set timelines that mirror real capacity so that your progress is compounded instead of collapsing. So if you know that the first week of something you don't have a 40-hour work week to focus on one project, stop treating that project like it's the only thing you have to do in your business. Okay. So have your timeline based on the real time you have allotted and available to actually work on the project. Number 5 of your project life cycle is assign tasks. Okay. Let me tell you about assigning these tasks. If you have team members, I want you guys to stop calling these team meetings and just talking about what all needs to be done. And then you like break, you end the team meeting, but nobody knows what they own. They don't know what tasks are theirs. They don't know what part of the project is theirs. Okay. And I don't care if you think it's obvious. Well, you're the graphic designer, so you should know you're doing all the graphics. Graphics for what? For which phase? How many? You let people own stuff. Okay. So when you assign stuff, be specific and assign them to somebody. So your goal is to create clarity on who and what part people are responsible for. All right. Now, the biggest obstacle to that is usually taking on everything without clear separation of responsibilities. We've already kind of talked about that part, right? So the solution is treat all of the roles, fill them in with specific team members. Now let's go back. That was a assigned task. Well, we already said that if you don't have a team or anybody else that's working on the project but you, then we're not assigning tasks. They're all ours. What we're doing is prioritizing tasks. Okay. And so you need to be looking at what needs to be done first, what moves the needle better, what is a need to and what is a want to, so that you can prioritize these tasks and move this stuff forward when it's just you. All right. Cool. Let's go to number 6. Execute with the flow. Okay. So this is your project life cycle. Step 6, execute the flow. We set everything up. Now it's time to do it. Okay. So define carrying out the plan with the rhythm and consistency while maintaining focus on what the bigger goal is. Never, the whole point of us in step 1 saying what the goal is so that we're always measuring what we're doing against the goal. Because if what we're doing takes us further away from the goal, we don't need to be doing it. Okay. If it does not take us closer to the goal, we need to evaluate, is this truly a step we should be wasting time, resources, money on? Okay. The goal to maintain steady progress and reduce friction that slows the completion. So I already said that. Biggest obstacle, losing consistency due to overwhelm or distraction. Okay. So you can't be over that time. So, oh, look, squirrel, and you just squirreled out for an hour and you only had an hour and 30 minutes for this task or this part of the project. So make sure that you are consistent and that you're not overwhelmed from just taking on everything instead of following your flow. Your flow is supposed to take the overwhelm out. You're supposed to know exactly what you need to be focusing on when. Okay. So that's the solution. Your project flow should remove unnecessary steps, and it should show you what exactly you should be focusing on when. Your last step, step 7 of your project life cycle, is review the desired outcome. Review your results for the desired outcome. So evaluating whether the project achieved the intended impact, not just completion of checking off tasks. All right. The goal, to measure success based on the result and identify improvements based on what the goal was. The biggest obstacle, ending a project without reflection or analysis of what worked, what did not work. Did you actually complete it the way you're supposed to? Okay. The solution, build review checkpoints that turn each finished project or each phase into a template for better performance, but also as a checkpoint, you're making sure that you are right on task for the goal. All right. So that was the 7. So the question of the day It's actually 2 small questions. All right, let me put it in studio. Kim, if you're going to participate, you can use the chat because I don't know if you can come off the mic. Let's put this over here on YouTube. Great, it all fit. I appreciate that, YouTube. And I am going to pull up the actual visual so that y'all can look at it while I go through your recap. And then when I finish the recap, I'm going to start with Dr. Tachi. So hopefully Dr. Tachi is available. All right. So let's go back. These are the 7 steps to your project life cycle. This is the general steps to any project's life cycle. I'm going to leave out the strategies and I'm going to just tell you the actual step and the goal of that step. Okay. Step 1, clarify the goal. Your goal for that is to set a clear financial or operational target that ties directly to your business growth. Okay. You shouldn't just be out here doing stuff because it's fun. You should have an idea of how this is going to better and grow your business, get you to the money. All right. Number 2, map the milestones. Your goal to provide direction and measurable progress that keep the motivation high and your focus sharp. Okay, I was about to say your focus, but I don't even know if that's the word. All right, step 3, outline deliverables. Your goal here to remove, generalities and create a standard of accountability for every outcome. We're not just doing stuff just to do it. All right. What does that deliverable need to look like? Number 4, create a timeline. The goal here is to bring balance between urgency and sustainability so as we're getting our results. Okay. It's almost like that prioritization, but we need to know about when we should be done with stuff. Number 5, assign tasks. And your goal here is to create clarity on who and what part are people responsible for all actions. If you don't have a team, then this is going to be prioritized tasks. And this is all about forward motion. What should go first versus you just doing what's easiest, you just doing what's not complex. What should go first in a sequential order to get you to the end in a way that makes a difference. Okay. Number 6, execute with flow, or execute the flow. I'm sorry. So your goal here is to maintain steady progress and reduce the friction all along the way that slows your completion in your progress. Last but not least is number 7, review the desired outcome. Okay. All along the way, you should be making sure that that goal you set in step 1, all of these milestones are getting you closer to the goal and not further away. All right. So the question is, what is a project in your business that is giving you a headache right now? And the second one is, what step or element from the project life cycle will help you most in getting through your projects more easily? Hopefully, we're trying to get you to the money faster. All right. Let's go to Dr. Tachi. Dr. Tachi, are you available? Okay, she might still be away. Let's go to Heather. Heather, what is a project in your business that is giving you a headache right now? And which one of these steps in our life cycle do you feel like will help you most in getting through your projects easier?
So right now, I think it's mostly milestones because I've never done that before. I don't have a progress list, so to speak. So I would say that is the number 1 thing, because I don't have it to share then with clients to be like, okay, you're here in the process, next is here. So that would also be the step that I would say would help the most.
Cool. And keep in mind, this is not just for external projects, it's for internal projects too, right? So
Yeah.
if the project is to build this sales page, then that's still going to have steps. It's still going to have milestones. And at some point when you have to bring a team member in, or even if it's just you, you need to know where you are, right? You need to know
Correct.
what you're working towards and all of that. So it's not just clients.
Yes.
So don't forget that. All right, let's go to Shawana Kennedy Media. What is a project in your business that is giving you a headache right now? And what step in the life cycle of the project life cycle will help you get most of your stuff done more easily when it comes to your projects?
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you clarified that because I was looking internally, uh, and so because with the clients, I definitely, because just the way I communicate, I don't call it a milestone, but I do let them know where they are and whatever it is that we are working on.
Yes.
Um, so I'm looking at, because my stuff is infrastructure. So that's what I was trying to see, looking at what you was doing, but then looking at what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing certain things to, of course, tighten up the ecosystem for my back end. So it's
Yeah.
the infrastructure and the support so that certain things can't operate without me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm trying to see where that fit in what you have there.
So how that fits in. So don't get confused with creating processes with what I'm talking about projects. Now, creating a process for something could be a project, right? So when you look at hiring a graphic designer or a video editor, that could be a project. And so we're then going to say what we're clarifying the goal of why we're hiring them. We go, okay, what are going to be the steps and the milestones in hiring? It's going to be searching. It's going to be interviewing, reviewing stuff. What is it? Resumes. It's going to be interviewing. It's going to be deciding. It's going to be notifying, onboarding. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that becomes a process, but it's also a project in building that process. So that's why I'm telling y'all, don't just look at it as internal or external. It could be either. So going back to, it's crazy because I'm about to do a project today to get y'all's link for the next workshop, right? So every time that I say I'm going to do a workshop, the first thing I got to do is decide what is the goal of the workshop, right? So this time the goal is to help you guys to plan 2026 on such a minute level that y'all shouldn't be confused about your year at all. So that's my goal, right? And then I'm going to say, okay, well, what's the milestones, the different phases. So for me, the phases of this workshop needs to be annual, quarter, month. You see what I'm saying? Those are my phases for the workshop. What's going to be the deliverables of the workshop? Well, I got to decide, okay, what are y'all going to get? What kind of templates are you going to get? What kind of videos are you going to get? What kind of chat GPT prompts are you going to get? Are you going to get a custom GPT? You see what I'm saying? Those are going to be the deliverables. And then I go so on and so on. But on that same project, let's go back. I'm doing a workshop for your 2026 planning. Okay. But then I got to look at getting it ready. So now I got to outline everything, but then the next milestone is going to be creating the sales page. The next milestone is going to be creating the automation. The next milestone might be creating the payment link and all that. You know what I'm saying? Make sure all this stuff is ready. So that's a part of the milestones for actually the same thing, but a different project attached to the same thing. Does that make more sense, Shawana?
Yeah, well, so with that thought, then I guess currently what is at the front.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a refresh to my website. However, to even tighten that up even more so that it can, what's the end goal? More leads,
Okay.
because it is getting traction, but more leads.
Mm-hmm.
I have gone over and did the switch and moving certain pieces over to go high level. But in that project, I just recently spoke to someone who is better skilled at
Mm-hmm.
what it looks like on that back end so
Okay.
that I'm making the necessary decisions to have that person go ahead and build certain things out that is going to make my website, which is a project,
Mm-hmm.
to operate better. And just even in the initial conversation that I was having with that person, she pointed out a couple things that I was like, okay, yeah, I didn't even think about it. And it made sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess my one of my projects right now that I want done as a
Mm-hmm.
milestone before the end of the year is as good as it could possibly be is my website.
I love that. But do you see how, because you were able to go to her about what the goal of you redoing your website was, she was able to recommend things to help you achieve that goal, right?
Yes.
See, people who say, I just need my website refreshed and they don't know why, maybe they just think it's old, right? maybe they just want to change colors. They just want to put different pictures in. They don't know why. They're about to waste money.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the person is just going to switch your stuff out, and whatever problem you had before is probably still going to be the problem you have now.
Yeah, no, I made sure she understood that. Yeah, all that's, I don't mind. I love it being pretty. However, I wanted to do what it's
Function.
intended to do, get the lead.
Yeah. And so another part of that is like a part of the milestones for them working on your website could be taking it page by page. Because, you know, we've talked about websites here on the morning show before, and each one of your web pages has a different job. So the milestone for the homepage should be, what is the job of the homepage, and are we getting things done to where it's doing its job? What is the job of the contact page? What is the job of the service page? What is the job about the speaker page? What is the job of the about page, right? All their jobs are different. And is the page living up to its job?
I like that thought. So yeah, that what you just said with what is happening. Even though we did talk through each page, but I liked having that focus as what is the job of that page, not just to have that button to do certain things, but making sure that that thought is in mind with each page. So yeah, this was good, and again, it's relevant and it's timely because this is literally happening in real time.
Great, great. Dr. Tachi, are you available? I didn't see you flash the mic or anything, so I'm assuming probably not. So projects, right? First, do you understand the difference between internal and external projects? Do you understand what the life cycle is and the part that it plays? Do you have any questions about projects as far as why they're important for you to focus on in your business, whether you have a team or it's just you? And do you have any questions about the actual life cycle of it? Anybody? Questions, value adds, or aha moments? I think I'm going to ask a question. Heather, give me an aha moment when you're thinking about these projects, and especially since you said, I don't feel like I really run my business off projects. What is an aha moment now that you're thinking about what you've learned today?
Well, actually, I was just about to come off the mic and give you that. So, like minds think alike, or great minds think alike, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying?
All that.
Honestly, it's also so the milestones, and then you said it's also about working. It's not just in the business, on the business, right? Which I often forget about, or I don't think of it in those terms, rather. But I would say the biggest aha moment for me would be to create a realistic timeline. How long is this really going to take based on my capacity? Because that is what I struggle with. Because, I want to be like, I can get that done in 2 weeks. That is a lie.
But also, sometimes when you say that's a lie, it may take longer. But sometimes when you've been doing something for so long, now it doesn't even take 2 weeks.
Right, exactly. So, but I'm saying, like, I really need to be super clear on what I can handle in what amount of time given my capacity for that particular time frame. Because if a client was to come or to do something on the business during a period where maybe my focus isn't as fractured, it might take less time, right? So like it's what is the capacity in the moment?
Yes.
That's what I have to fit. That's where I have to really, that's where I was like, oh, that's so good when you were like, don't just think about in the business, think about on the business. So it reminded me, I was thinking about your CEO questions the other day. I don't know why. I was driving somewhere, totally not even related to anything, but I was like, I really should start asking myself that question every Monday. What is the one thing that I'm going to do this week to work on my business and not in my business?
Yes.
So, yeah.
I love that. Great circling back, looping that in. I love it. I love it. Shawana, what was an aha moment with me discussing this project, them being internal, external, and these different steps of the project life cycle? What was something that was like a light bulb going off in your head as I was explaining it?
My brain be sparking all the time, every conversation that we have on here. I just want to say that's for the public record since this is the last full week of the morning show. What for me, it was what we were saying when you when I gave my initial thought, and then you brought it back to say, hey, yeah, not just that, but then while you were speaking, it made me think about, well, what are you working on right now? I know I'm working on several things, but everything is not a project. And knowing what the thing is or what category to put it in is so important, because it'll help you then follow the necessary steps of that thing, that task, to say this is a project, so it may not be able to be done overnight. And so calling it that, to me, it then aligns your brain, your thoughts, or whoever else you that's working with you or may work for you, where will, based off even what you showed here, where you know how to place them, if that makes sense. So that's why when you were talking more and more, I was like, bing, 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 my website, because that is happening, and it's happening in real time.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. It's crazy because what brought this up for me, that I was like, oh, you're a beast at running projects and you have not taught them how to run projects, is the fact that as the morning show sunsets, I have a bunch of projects I'm gonna put in that brain space of me not having to come up with morning show stuff every week, every day of the week. That kind of, I'm about to run some projects. One of them being also my website refresh. But what is the point of it, right? What is going to be the focus of it? Refreshing all of my social media stuff. Like, what is going to be the one job of each one of my platforms, type of thing. So that's what made me really really think about it. Now, the great thing is everybody in studio is in the paid membership. So another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go further for y'all, and I'm going to do a training on. I don't like to say project management. I'm going to say project execution. Because when people think project management, they're thinking about that certification, the PMP. They're thinking about being a Scrum Master. They're thinking about being a professional, agile, all that kind of stuff. And that's not what I'm talking about. Those are higher levels of executing projects, but we execute projects every day, right? We do stuff in the household that are projects that we get done. So it's just going to be about focusing on your business and getting projects done. Even talking about money making activity type projects that we should be focused on. Cool, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So, what's going on this week is on Friday, it's a Get Shit Done work session. I know you feel like, did we just have one? We did, but don't forget we have Thanksgiving this month, and I still want to get in all of our work sessions. So, Friday, there is going to be one from 1 p.m. Eastern Time to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It is one of those that we share with the free group. So, the paid membership gets all of our sessions, and the free group, we give a couple a month. So that one will be Friday, 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Get Shit Done work session. All right. Save the date for next week. Next week, we do not meet for the morning show on Monday and Tuesday. We are out for the Veterans Day holiday. We're going to come back in Wednesday and Thursday. That is November 12th, November 13th. And we're going to do live coaching. We're going to do what we call the one thing live coaching. What is the one thing keeping your business from its first six figures or six figures and beyond? So we're going to do that on that Wednesday and Thursday. On that Thursday, the 13th, that is our last morning show, the way that you know it now. And so we're going to do a farewell to the morning show. And then on that weekend, the 15th, that's when we're doing our winter boot camp intensive. It's all about 2026. I'm calling it Your Big Fat Money Year Planning. And that link should be available tomorrow, because as a project today, I'm putting everything together, okay? This is a new month. The November calendars for the paid membership and the free group will be released this week for everything happening this month and planning for this month. All right. So look out for those things. Well, this has been the Her First Six Figures Morning Show, which is an interactive coaching and training experience as part of our free business mastermind group that positions Black and Brown female online service-based entrepreneurs to generate your first six figures by learning how to make the money and create time freedom. Find out more about me, your host, Shay Cannon, plus get links to resources like how to join that free business mastermind group, or how to get the show notes with all of the steps and all of the strategies from today or recent past episodes. Check out the description below for all of that, okay? If you have not already, give me a thumbs up, like this episode. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, because even though the morning show is going away, I got more value coming in its place for you, so you don't want to miss it. Today's episode is going to be 1 out of a 4 episode series. So make sure you check out the other videos. My paid membership, I'm probably going to start a impromptu work session directly after the morning show. And guess what's going to happen? The morning show is ending in 5, 4, 3, 2,